Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning. So I'm just going to warn you right now, even though I know nobody's really turned in yet, but I just feel like absolute shit. So let's grab links. Okay, we all in. Hold on. I want to make sure everything's all okay. So anyways, my alarm on my phone continues to go off at 5 o'clock. So I got, I didn't even notice. Got in the showered, realized that I had woken up 30 minutes early. And I had a really hard time falling asleep last night for some reason. I just feel like awful. Now yesterday, I think I was a little stressed out. Because I came home, ate a ton, and just sat and did some music, and I felt a little bit better, but then I still had a really hard time falling asleep, so I think it took me like 2 hours to really fall asleep. Anyways, so I'm just warning you, if this was like a live account, I think I would switch over to Sim for the day. But since we're already on Sim, doesn't matter. Anyways, yesterday we had a move up that burned itself out pretty quickly and came back down, and now they moved up a little bit in the overnight, but now they've moved lower again. And I believe that we're going to see the likelihood is rather that we're going to see some more extensive downside. So let's see here. If we say that the close is here at 20 and the bottom is at 17, that's kind of puts us in the middle of our zone anyways. And it was a relatively low overnight range, but we do have news. Do we get anything other than the jobs news today? HPI. Okay, well, we get some news, so that might help. I think we may see a move down. If we stay below the VWAP, I'll look for a move down. So the E-mini is kind of, I mean, it moved up yesterday, but not like anything crazy. And it's just kind of hitting on support, so nothing too interesting there yet. So there they are trying to push above the VWAP. And that was the initial drive. I should mark some levels here. Yesterday's pivot was 16.5. We pivoted at 17.5 before. And the high yesterday was 24. Say low. I don't feel like that these matter anymore. Bitcoin really came back yesterday. That's super interesting. Okay. Well, there's a little bit of resistance there at 20.5, but we get through it and start ticking up. I think this could go a little bit further. Oh, did I put it in the wrong spot? Yep, I did. Posted my link in the wrong place. Put it posted down here. Down here. Boom, 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 and delete the ones up here in the lobby. Deleted. There we go. That's a little better. So I guess what I need is a new alarm clock. And then one of the things I liked about the alarm that I had was you could auto dismiss, so it would make a beep, but then it would just stop on its own. And I use that as a signal to get out of the shower. Maybe I just need to get a clock in the bathroom. Yeah. I mean, this is a pretty good move up. I'm surprised that they just stopping at 20.5. The moment it looks very range bound, and this is so far an inside day. But we do get news in 2 minutes. So, let's pull that up, by the way. Trump, if I ever got impeached, I think the market would crash. I think so too. I mean, he's right. Well, let me reframe that. If Donald Trump got impeached, he would not be, there would not be a market crash. So it's a political thing. If he got convicted and removed, then there would be a market crash. Okay, so I'm seeing liquidity pulling. At least I think I'm seeing the liquidity pull.
Initial claims 210,000, continuing claims 1.727 million. We are seeing a revision to claims revised up 1.729 million against the prior of 1.721 million.
Sounds like the numbers are good. Yeah, a little, mostly in line. Right, it's 210 versus 215. I don't know if that's enough to affect things. So I'm gonna have a hard time staying awake today, guys. I can already see my vision kind of like going cross-eyed. Man, today is gonna be a slow day. Well, they are having a hard time there at 20.5. I'm not seeing enough of a signal to want to be going short, though. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing enough. Just look at the volume; it's just pathetic. Longest bull market on record is cracking as artificial support fades, David Rosenberg warns. Okay, unconventional opinion coming on here, folks. I don't consider this the longest bull market in history. I think when you look at the technical definitions, yeah, well, they might turn around here, but I'm gonna have to just miss it unless I see something clear. I mean, if you look at like bear market is when there's been more than a 20% decline in stocks. Okay, then yeah, longest bull market ever. But the truth is that it really wasn't like that, right? We had the Euro crisis. And we had the Euro crisis again, and now we're having the trade war stuff. I mean, this market has taken some periods of bear action or increased volatility, and it's just been the case that when nothing happened. We've changed things so much with the regulation. Things are so risk adverse that you just can't have the same downside. And then when you're constantly pushing liquidity into the system, you can't have as far of a pullback. So even though technically, yes, it's the longest bull market in history, this is not really accurate. It's not really an accurate portrayal of what happened in regards to if you're trying to predict whether or not this bull market is about to burn itself out. We simply have never gotten to that point where the larger public is buying into stocks and we run out of people to buy. It's not happening. Because it hasn't really been a real bull market. Not in the traditional sense. So I don't know if that was coherent, but something to fill the time with. Well, that 20-half has certainly gotten a lot stronger. I think that taking short at 20 definitely seems like the spot would be okay. I don't know if there's really enough to justify taking a short here, but I mean, it fits in with what I'm looking for, and you know, if it goes down, we're not going to get another look at those prices, so I think we kind of have to take it seriously. But I got to be careful about how I'm reading the signals because things are pretty likely to stay range bound, I think. Okay. The way that I got filled is okay. You see that the 5-year bid looks pretty weak, but not the 30-year. Okay. 30-year went. There's kind of a step in the profile here that it looks like maybe acting as a bit of some support that they're going to have to battle through. I don't like that the 20 is the weak one now. We tick down and now it looks like the level 2 is flipped already. Okay. We've traded it a lot at 20.
European net further downgrade. Credit price targets 100.
Alligator says risk off bias. It's like Alligator and I are generally on the same page. He thinks that because there's nothing going on, that's kind of a slight bias to the long side. And I'm saying that the peak yesterday and then subsequent drop in the overnight action means we're more likely to move down. But it's kind of hard. I mean, I don't have like a specific stat on that, so it's kind of hard to say. Continue to like the way that price is acting to 20. Buyers are very, very tepid at 20. And when they do come through, the sellers just absorb it. Now, I would need to see that 19.5 pull again, probably. Or a flip in the level 2. Definitely, they're all strong bid right now. It's hard to keep my vision straight here. I'm sleepy. There was some trade war stuff. That was a dumb thing to say. There was a politician in Utah said that the reason LGBT teens have high levels of depression and suicide is because they have high number of sex partners. I think that's not going to go over so well in the media. I wonder if I'm going to see that on Reddit later today. Okay, so that was a good flip right there. The bid was actually stronger, but then they traded it down. So that kind of action is good. That's what we like to see. And them iceberging a little bit at 19.5, that's good too. Now I'd like to see some sellers puking, but Oh, well, they did bring it back up. So this kind of feels familiar now.
Collecting news here again, going back to buyer. Doesn't expect drop in demand for glyphosate.
There's definitely somebody or some group of people selling it, but the buyers are not giving up either. And they're buying it back up above 19.5. Okay, that time the offer held. If you could go through at 19, that's good. Let's see here, John's notes. He thinks the ZB could trade higher as long as the price stays above yesterday's overnight day session lows at 145.06. Well, that's a ways below. If we break below those levels, 144.29 to 1. Well, this is one of the reasons why I immediately came in and thought, well, it should be range bound, because one of the things that we'll do is we'll look at the open compared to, you know, whichever side from the open had more, was more aggressive, got further. So they only got, you know, 6 ticks. So if you want to say, like, what's the bull bear zone, it's between, you know, 18 and 20 or so. This is basically the whole range here. So in order for us to really be like in a place where we could really start moving down, we have to be at the lows. But then the range is so small, the action is so slow. It's difficult to know if it will hold at 17.5 or not. Not until they do it. Well, 19.5 continues to look vulnerable, but they are trading a little bit more at 19.
And just a heads up, in under 10 minutes, we will get the release of the US FHFA House Price Index month on month for an estimate of 0.3% against a prior of 0%. We'll also get the year on year for that reading. No estimate, but prior of 6.4%. Alongside that, we will get the release of the US House Price Purchase Index called.
Nope.
And again, no estimate.
Okay.
Prior of 1.7%.
So they keep pushing it up and sellers push it down. Sellers are stacking a little bit more, so I think that they just gained another they may have just gained another follower there. I know I'm reading like super tiny things in there, but let's just say they were having a hard time getting above 11. That time they got up to 2,000. Now they're at 16. A 5-year here could tick down. Would help. Zero hedge. Okay, let's talk about impeachment. That should be interesting. One of the things that I've thought was funny, I was reading the other day about the impeachment thing, was that Democrats were coming out today and saying that the Supreme Court, that because of all this and because he might get impeached, that he shouldn't be allowed to appoint anybody to the Supreme Court. But the thing is that the Supreme Court doesn't preside over impeachment proceedings. The jury is Congress. Ooh, iceberg there. And the Chief Justice, which isn't changing, okay, presides over the proceedings. So his whoever Donald Trump might appoint is unlikely to have any effect on it, or any of the other legal things that might go on or happen, frankly. If anything, he might actually rule against Trump in some of these instances. So, okay, well, they were able to buy up through it, and then they were able to sell down through it. So this is where slow action just really sucks, because we really are at the mercy of the next tick. Somebody decides to sell 2019, then we're probably going to tick down. And then maybe we're lucky and they continue through and they come down to our target. But maybe not. Maybe somebody buys up 19.5 and sits there for a while, and they buy 20, and I'm sure there's some big guy back there that has an idea of where he wants to take it, and he's going to be the one that wins. But it's going to be very, very difficult to predict with certainty what he's going to do. I'm merely relying on the previous failures above us.
Commodity currencies, Aussie down nearly. Pressure.
Tick up again. Well, so it's 31 on the 20 side. On the 19 side, they were getting down to 2,000. Not really seeing all that much changing at the other prices, and maybe 100 stacked or pulled here and there, but in the 5-year, it was the 24.5 was weak, but now it's the 24.7. And they might go back and forth here a little bit. There was an iceberg at 24.7. Okay, so they sold it again. It's just gonna do this thing. He's sitting over there. I know you're doing it, dude. Yeah, he's watching me. He's going, okay, which way is Seth going? Alright, he's short. Well, let's kind of let him think that he's winning for a little bit. And we'll go back and forth and do nothing. And then we'll go the other way. And then maybe we'll make it look like it's going to go through him. And if he gets out, then maybe we'll push it down to 18. But if he doesn't get it out, then we're going to push it up to 21. That's how it works. Turkey Tata. That's a new name. Welcome. I'm not really a conspiracy theorist. I'm just bored. This is a really slow action. Really slow. It is going against me. And it doesn't look good at the moment. Keep in mind, only a couple hundred went into 19, only 93 have gone into 20.
The US FHFA house price index month on month for June, looking for an estimate of growth spot percent.
Maybe the 5-year trade's down again, maybe. Come on. Okay, well, 953 have gone through a 20, so that's not good. So, much stronger indication of buyer side pressure than what we saw at 19 when the sellers, very few sellers went into 19. Dollar is gaining power now, huh? I'm just looking at my 6J and it continues to be down where it is. It's just, I mean, they did push down earlier in the session, but now it's just kind of sitting there. But the move in the dollar has been interesting. Yeah, and it's good. I mean, it's good. It means that some of the policy changes that we've been making are working, and money is coming back to the United States. Might not be enough, but it's still good. Well, HPI is usually not significant news, but let's see what happens. I suppose it's fair that there would be more buying at 20 than there would be selling at 19, because we did get filled at 20 at one point on limit, didn't we? So it was just kind of like they weren't, 20 was where they really had a hard time getting above. That's why I took it where I did. Well, they're getting all excited about the news, maybe.
Month on month, spot 2%.
We were looking for spot 3. That's bad. Less inflation possibly moves us up. Yep. Sucks. Well, I might have been able to have managed that one a little bit better and saved tick, but I could kind of see that the buyers weren't getting filled there. Already selling at 21 though. I don't know. Oh, best analysis. Yeah, you're talking about when I said what they're gonna do is they're gonna see if I get out, and if they don't get out, then they're gonna go up to 21. And look, that's exactly what they did. So now, if I buy 21, it's gonna go to 23. Or no. If I buy 21, then they're gonna go back down. If I don't buy 21, then they're gonna go to 23. That's the way that it works.
Just seeing a revision on that month-on-month reading, revised up spot 4% against the prior of spot 2.
Wait, what? What? They're saying that the previous month was 0.2 and now they're saying it's 0.4.
Getting house price purchase index for quarter-on-quarter crossing 1 spot 1%. We're just seeing the prior revised up to 1 spot 9% from a previous of 1 spot 7%. Okay, well, here is that spot again where I'm tempted to take another trade. And then it probably sits here and does nothing. So, hands off. Stretch a little bit. It's interesting that we're seeing almost 5K here at both prices at 20.5. Been seeing that kind of thing a lot lately. At 1.5. They put that in the no, they didn't put it in the box. It doesn't correspond. I don't know what price that is. Seems significant though. European news here. ECB Angeloni says encouraged by MPL developments. These Angeloni, them comments well with an more from Angeloni here saying mid-tier Italian banks moving in the right direction.
A little bit more flow there. Literally a 4-tick opening range. Right in the effing middle. How do you play that one? I think you wait for it to make a push. And pretty good chance that they fail. That whatever move develops out of that fails. You know, there's a bunch of buying there and it's already all come off.
Heads up ahead of the US cash equity open. Cash equity is on the board.
I'm really tempted to try and sell it again. But my rule was not at 7 o'clock. Not on a range bound day.
Just seeing the year on year now for the monthly home price. 5%.
A bit more selling came into the 5-year there.
More from ECB Angeloni here saying Italy credit supply may suffer. Spread widens more. An FT piece on Saudi Arabia saying it is said to tap banks for 12 billion in loans.
Donald Trump says Sessions was given Attorney General job only because of his loyalty during campaign. I mean, I don't know what Jeff Sessions is doing over there. It seems like that he should be getting involved in some of this stuff that's going on, and he's just kind of ignoring it. Well, it's funny because they're making that push up, and I mean, they did have some success, but it's just now they're having a hard time getting past 21. So,
Just hearing from China's plan with this.
want to look at my one tick chart? So this is where charts can screw you up, because when you look at the one tick chart, it just like oh, we're in a range, of course, and we've formed a zipper. But when you look at it over here on this one, you can see here was the zipper, and then we ticked down for a while and ticked here for a long time, only barely ticked up to there. Now they're starting to hit into that 20 a little bit more aggressively. So they were attacking this side, and now they're attacking this side.
China encourages businesses to operate according to international standards and market principles.
Well, this is exactly why I said it's probably not a good idea to take a trade at 705. Because if we had taken it, we would be short 20 half, right? I said I wanted to short 20 half, and we'd still be sitting in it. Oh my gosh. Don't let my yawning make you yawn. I know it's contagious.
From China Commerce Ministry here saying it hopes Australian government will act in a fair and open way to allow Chinese business to develop in Australia.
Okay. So they tick back up. Tick up seemed strong, but my gosh, child.
I don't think we should skip towel. It's hot, and I don't want to take it out. Or else it'll burn my. What, girl?
Oh, that's interesting. They made some changes to journalytics. Look at this.
Chinese Commerce Minister saying Australia should not interfere.
kind of shows you
business
your performance over the trade.
based on grounds of national security.
Probably a lot more useful to somebody that, you know, it's trading multiple contracts. Well, the one thing I'm seeing here makes me a little bit suspicious, to be honest, is the we came up from, what was it, 23.7? 24.5? Yeah, 24.5 or so. So we were just kind of doing nothing here. And then, and look at the liquidity that built up below us. But we've seen this earlier before where you think that that's going to continue through and then it pulls. There's also this thing going on in the 30-year. So there's a big order that's been there for quite some time. I mean, that 1383 is stiffening up, but it was always pretty big. And it's one tick below the overnight high. That's a little interesting. They're doing it in the 10-year too. There's orders at 22. It's been thickening up a little bit as we've moved up. Okay, well that was a strong take.
Connection lost.
Well, that was kind of weird. So this is the one where normally I would have clicked into 21.5. But now I'm saying no, because really you have way too much risk below you to really know that you're wrong. And what's your reward is like 22.5 now, maybe? Oh, that is showing up as a big order now. They did trade through the big order in the 30-year. Hmm. Yep, this is just super slow. So the way that things are set up in the DOM, it makes me think that they would want to move up to 22. But they did, you know, they're having to bubble up to do it. Hmm. Well, if they're gonna do it, they're sure being sly about it, aren't they? Okay. It's a little close to the cache open to be playing it. They're sure making it look like you could short it here, though. Okay. I mean, I kind of wish that I shorted that, but I did say too close to the E-mini, right? So let's give it a few minutes.
In corporate debt issuance, seeing for
Okay. Well, missed opportunity there. Maybe it doesn't go. We'll watch 19, maybe if 19 breaks. Yeah, like this.
Comments now from the Mexican economist Ricardo, doing the best to finish NAFTA talks as soon as possible.
The way that 6,000.
Ricardo, the
thickened up behind us too. And remember what I said about the liquidity in the 5-year? They all come up behind us and it was a little suspicious. And look, we've traded down through it without any difficulty. Okay.
In 10 minutes' time, we'll be getting the preliminary August reading for the market manufacturing PMI. Expected at 55.0, power 55.3, 54.2 to 55.9, with the services PMI 55.8 expected against power 56.0, and power 55.7. The idea is to do our best.
Well, good deal. Those are positive comments. Okay. So I'm wondering, nope. This thing is super indecisive right now, isn't it? Should be careful because there was quite a bit of volume actually that bought. Okay. So the last pivot was 19.5. 2 ticks away from it. I saw some absorption at 20.5 and I took it. And it's kind of weird because I was looking short, but it was a lower low. It was a higher low and a higher high. So at this point, I think I have to go long. Now it's going to be hard for them to move up, for sure. Because this is pretty thick. I mean, for us to go through here, these guys are going to have to pull. So I'm okay with this because what I'm anticipating is big buyers trying to come in and push it up to the highs, and if they're absorbing at 20.5, that's good. That means that my scenario may be playing out. Now they need to stay above 20.5 and start attacking. They need to start pulling up here, but it would definitely be easier for them to move down. Nope, that's not what we wanted at all. Okay. So they moved down because the E-mini was pushing up. Yeah? I'm a little concerned about what I'm seeing in the E-mini because, yeah, I'm kind of interested in action. They made a pretty good run there, but it was on very little volume. And there was some pretty, they sold off that beginning. Okay, now there's an iceberg the other way. That's not what we like to see, but they pushed through it really easily.
Minutes now until we get the US market manufacturing PMI for August. Again, expected at 55.0 with the services PMI 55.8 expected. Composite, no expectations, but are 55.7.
I'm kind of realizing now that the range is so tight that really we got in right smack dab in the middle. This 5-year looks like it wants to go. Do it. Do it. Come on. Really, guys? 86 contracts. You're not gonna buy that up, huh? Nope. Too afraid of the iceberg.
One minute.
Okay. And there they took it. 30 years been moving up, 10-year has not followed.
4.5 for the manufacturing PMI. Services 55.2, composite 55.0. Manufacturing PMI 4.5, low expected 55.0 with the services PMI 5.2, expected 5.0, composite 5.0.
Slightly below expectations.
Looking at the breakdown now, manufacturing sector flash PMI output index of August 4.3, employment index 53.7, the manufacturing employment index coming in the lowest since August 17.
Do you have any more news? New home sales, the top of the hour. Says held for a while. This rally in the E-mini just looks incredibly weak to me. That strong tick there in the treasuries. So I'm thinking you could just sell. I'm just gonna put it right here. Okay. I don't think I have my E-mini stuff properly separated, so I don't think I could make that trade without messing up the rest of my stats. Well, let's try it anyways. This up here. Oops. There we go. I think I might want to turn that notification thing off. And this should go down to 60. Yeah. So that's about right. Okay.
Hit the USD for July expected at 0.645 million against par of 0.31 million. 2 month to month at 2.2% expected, par of 5.2%. Well, we'll begin in the round of reading consumer confidence expected at -0.7 against par of -0.6.
Where are the waffles?
Alright. See, I think it keeps going. Now, the thing that I find really interesting about what's happening right now is that the E-mini is actually pushing a lot of volume here and it's not going. And it's the same thing in Treasuries. That looks like I was wrong. I was gonna say on this E-mini trade, it seemed to me that he was either gonna come back because it just looked like an incredibly weak rally, or the buyers were gonna push through and you're gonna get a pretty strong buy. Well, it looks like we got the strong buy. So it's okay. And of course, in the process, everything that we had going for us in the end, it just falls apart. So is that my second in? Yes. See, they absorb big amounts all the way up through here. So there's still a chance that it floats back down. See, the problem that I have going here is I'm trying to get 4, and it's been in a 4 or 5 tick range. So how are you gonna win doing that, right? And that bird is freaking out. So I'd say that iceberg right there was a. They managed that very well. I'm kind of sleepy and just flat-footed and feel discouraged. Where do you predict the North Korean economy to move in the next 10 years? I got all my assets tied up there. Sure you do.
Some current press anyway. Zone consumer confidence starting with 7% against prior of -0.6%. Also at the same time, we're getting US new home sales for July expected at 0.645 million against prior 0.1 million, with the month-to-month change 2.2% expected against. From Merkel, I noticed job. Geopolitical minus China has 5 million at the.
I mean, I there was some stuff to say that we were trending up, okay? We did get a pretty good move there, right? And then it kind of fell apart because of the E-mini. But now, there was liquidity up here too. And we should have been more concerned about that than we were, right?
Under 1 minute to go now. Ten seconds. $6.627 million for new home sales, with the month-to-month at -1.7%. Eurozone consumer confidence for those new home sales at 0.627 million, with prior month 0.638 million. The month-to-month change coming in at -1.7%. 4%.
So that was bad.
breakdown there. That was the US July single-family home sales were down 1.7%. The sales in Northeast were down at 50.3%, in the West 9.9%, and in the South down 3.3%, in the West 10.9% up. Consumer confidence at -1.9, -1.9 for Eurozone consumer confidence. That was below expected, -0.7.
Okay. So E-mini slight move up. Treasuries kind of pointing up a little bit, but nothing too strong yet. Going back and forth. The 30-year really selling there. A little more promising, but only slightly. Well, I took the absorb a hit that time. Nope. The offer is much stronger. I don't know. 900 versus 1100, I guess it's not like a huge deal, but it is stronger. And this big sell in the 30-year kind of has me wondering. You saw it in this one, but you didn't see it in these. It was at the 17. 2000 now. That pulled in and stopped again. Well, that was a significant down tick. I remember earlier I had a stop sell there. See, what I don't get is if I'm just making random bad decisions, why is it the wrong one every time? Well, my stop is awfully close. I think the thing that really helped me before was that I was taking more like vortex risk sometimes. Now that really would hurt me when it was really range bound and you weren't getting anything, but I don't know. Having a hard time seeing how to win in this. This iceberg was definitely a good signal that I missed. Okay, there was a big order in the 30-year that got run over essentially at 18. Was it 18? Yeah. No, it was there at 19. And it pulled. Now they took 19, but they're not ticking. These freaking kids. Hmm. Man. I mean, that was a pretty good offer when they put it on there. It didn't stay. Pull, then they tick back up. Not a strong offer.
Block cell.
Okay. It's curious. Well then. That was a pretty strong uptick. And that uptick makes me want to buy it again. This one may actually end up working. So like, remember there was like a bunch of liquidity and like 6,000 several prices above us? And they're not there anymore. Okay, so this guy block sold 19 now, and that also held. Come on, guys, buy this up. Screw him over. Do it. This is kind of exciting. Like I've never seen that before. I mean, I've seen a block sell come through and it hold, and then the guy end up puking. I've also seen a block sell come through and it hold, and they try and push it against him a few ticks, but he doesn't give up, and then eventually comes down and it goes through. Hi.
I have to go. I'm late. You have to take the kids to work, to school, 8:30.
Oh.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay. Just when it was getting fun. But to see them do it at 2 prices, I've never seen that before. Yes, dear.
Mom said you have to tie my shoes for me so that I can go to school.
Well, okay, but it's not time to go yet.
I know.
Okay, well, when it's time to go, then we'll do it.
Crap! Winter shoes. They're not dirty.
The door is. See, this one is hard to predict because you've got somebody trapped. So if they can make another tick up, you've got about 10,000 contracts that are gonna stop out at some point. I think that's a juicy target, and I think that they could try pushing it up. Okay, so yeah, that's good, and 1,700 on the bid. That's good. Now the problem is he's a big guy. You don't just block sell 5,000. You know, he's a big guy, so it's going to be hard to move it against him. But I think that it's getting they're getting enough out of it now that it could go, and the 5-year is playing along with it too. Now they're play crying. That's my least favorite thing they do. They'll be playing with the dolls, and one of the dolls will cry, and I think that they're really crying. Ugh. Come on. So now we got the tick up. I don't know. It's interesting. We got the tick up. It only took 1,100 to do it. We got a good bid. The cumulative delta didn't move. Cumulative delta is not moving over here too. We're probably going to need to see some of that change for us to move up. And man, I don't know. There's enough, especially here in the 30-year. There's enough here that if we do move up, we could really go. We could go further than the 4 ticks for sure.
This time now we'll be getting the
Should probably move that to a more sensible place.
It's a power build of 33 F.
Nope. Like really, for this guy, he did it at 18.5 and 19. You're gonna need to move it at least 2, if not 4, before a big guy like that is gonna start puking. Trump wants to ban flipping because he's almost literally a mob boss. Okay. I mean, I kind of understand what he's saying in that, like, if it's your lawyer shouldn't be allowed to flip, right? Like, how does that freaking work? I mean, obviously, he can still testify against you if you've made if you've committed a crime. Cohen says he's committed a crime. A lot of people question if it's really a crime. But, like, Michael Cohen is doing more than just saying that he's committing a crime. He's got his lawyer going out there saying basically whatever he can to create the most fireworks and create the most damage to Donald Trump. And, you know, that kind of... Man, how can you trust a lawyer now? You're a politician. You have a lawyer. You give them tons of ammo. And now you have to think, well, yes, but if at some point this guy decided to flip on me, I would be screwed. So it's kind of a problem in that respect. Okay, so the strong bid again at 19.5. They've done it 2 times now on the tick up, but the 20 is not pulling away. In fact, the 20 is actually stacking a little bit. Not as strong of an uptick in the 5-year. The 5 years, like, look guys, I gave you 5 ticks, that's all I'm giving you. That's not enough to get the job done, then it's your own problem. But, and then the other thing about this whole thing is that you watch Alan Dershowitz. I really like Alan Dershowitz just because when he talks, he's a lawyer, and he's a very, you know, well-respected lawyer, and I think that his analysis is much more lawyery than any of the other people that I see on television. And he said, you know, they don't just want people to sing, they'll get them to compose if they have to. You know what I mean? I always think it's funny. People say, one of the catchphrases I've been seeing some people on the left use is, if it's a witch hunt, we sure are finding lots of witches. It's like almost an ironic comment, because witch hunts did find witches. And that's the whole thing, guys. Right? They had these big, huge hunts, and they found all of these people. They said that they were witches. And then eventually they got these people to confess that they were witches. And, you know, there they got on the stake and they burned. Haven't you ever read The Crucible? And, is it The Crucible? Yeah, I think it's The Crucible. And, you know, before they burn him at the stake, he admits that he's a witch. But do witches actually exist, folks? No. No, they don't. You see? They compose. You know, conversely, if you have a witch hunt and you find vampires, is it really a successful witch hunt? No, it's not. So the whole thing, and I'm not thinking about this from a perspective of like, oh, I voted for Donald Trump and would like to see him continue to be president or anything. I'm kind of thinking of it more from the perspective of like, okay, so let's say that this all goes the way that the left thinks it's going to. Like, let's just say worst case scenario. Donald Trump, fairly or unfairly, is removed from office. You know what's going to happen? The conservatives are then going to turn around and they're going to try and do the exact same thing back. And so now it's just going to be like constant drama, chaos back and forth, no matter what happens. I mean, that's what happened after they tried to impeach Bill Clinton. It's ever since then everybody's been saying, oh, we should impeach. It's not a good thing, guys. Well, I really like this trade, but I need it to go, and I have to go in 4 minutes. And now I'm disappointed. What's the latest on crypto? Okay, well I should post like charts here while I'm thinking about it because I won't have time to do that after. Come on. So this big guy is fighting to save his position, I think, is my read off of that. Hmm. It looks like he might win. It looks like he might beat us, guys. What the hell? There we go.
One second.
What is the piece of news? Oh, natural gas storage.
CF a build of gas storage change. Looking at the breakdown, that was the East Nat gas stocks were 21. Pacific down 1, South Central were down 3, and they still don't know 0.5.
Well, the longer this goes on, the less of a chance that we get this, I think.
Block sell.
Okay, well, pretty awful day to cap off a pretty awful week. It's not quite, it's an 8-tick loser because you take out those E-mini ones. But every single one got stopped out. And it wasn't even like I was necessarily wrong about them. Like I said, sell at 20. Okay. So, well, we went up. There was 3 ticks there. And then we sold. No, we bought at 20.5. Oh, that was a little bit high. And then we bought at 19.5. Okay, so the buy at 19.5 was a little bit better. But obviously unstoppable. This is some big guy doing something in here. Yeah. Well, that one couldn't go either way. Anyways. Kind of having a hard time, it seems like I would just have to increase my risk or not play on this, because with the 2 ticks, it's just, they're going to take it out. But I don't know what I'm just losing every time. Which is, even for me, is just really weird and particularly bad. And I'm not quite sure what's going on or why I'm having such a problem. And it's not like I'm fighting it every time I bought and I sold, and I'm just not getting anything out of anything. So yeah. That's enough. I gotta go.